Hello and welcome back. If you're new, hello, welcome. Feel free to subscribe. So today is part 2 in the freelance series and we're now a month in. Well, I am a month in. So we're having a bit more of a catch up as well as answering some of your questions from the first video. So first up, the meltdown. Be warned, one is coming at some point. You've probably already had the little panics and and let that stress build a wee bit. And then if you're like me, you will have a morning where you get up and you can't see how on earth you're going to pay your bills. And you can't see how on earth you're going to make it all work because it's not working yet. And why isn't it working yet? And yeah, it's coming. And I definitely had one hell of a meltdown. I just sat and I didn't know, I just couldn't see how I was going to make it work. I couldn't see how on earth I was going to pay my bills. Now, if you're probably more organised, you would probably have saved up about 3 months worth of rent. I didn't. I was saving towards holiday and paying off debt. And not holiday, travelling. And I don't want to touch that money at all because we are leaving in a few months and I am not touching that money. So if you're better organised, make sure you can, if possible, save a couple of months worth of rent and bills and stuff. I had to jump ship when I did because I was losing my sanity. I had to just go. I'd had enough. So that morning I get up and I just lost my head. But I knew I had to do something about it. So I got on to Skype to my friend and he knew something was amiss and asked me some questions and my face just flooded. That's the best way of saying it. My face just leaked while I was sitting there going, I just don't know how it's going to work. I have no idea how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I can get any money. People aren't replying to emails. I don't know what I'm doing. So patience is an interesting one. But yeah, the meltdown is going to come. Talk to people, get it out. Get it all out. Like, just let it go. Because you can't hold on to that moving forward. So it was really cathartic for me to just have that meltdown and have that moment. There was then, once I got that all out, I was able to then see that I just had to exercise a certain amount of patience. So I was expecting email replies from people that I'm doing work with, and I needed confirmation either way so I could allocate the time and if I could get invoices sent and all that and organise that. And yeah, patience. You have to understand that other people are working to their own timetable as well, and sometimes they just need a wee nudge. So feel free to follow up with people and feel free to, if they don't reply, move on. Don't hold on, because there's one client in particular I would have loved to work with and they just didn't reply at all to any of my emails. So, and they were the ones that asked me to help them out, but they didn't reply to any emails. But I couldn't do anything about it, so I just let it go and I moved on. I have since found other clients that are more than happy to work with me and work at my rates and are very happy. Because later that day, the day that I had the meltdown, I dusted myself off. After talking to my friend, I'd let it go and we'd come up with a plan of action. And I had myself the biggest cup of tea and just allowed myself a wee bit of quiet. And then I went to meet my client, and that client is now one of my biggest clients and I'm working with them and it's brilliant. I'm thoroughly enjoying it and I'm using lots of different skills that I've accumulated and lots of knowledge that I've learned about software testing and stuff, and that's all now getting wrapped into this new shiny thing. So it's brilliant. It has worked out incredibly well. So yes, expect a meltdown. It's coming. The second thing I wanted to talk about is patience, and like I said, part of the meltdown was because I am a wee bit of a control freak, I guess. I like to be in control of the situation. I like to know this is what I'm doing and when I'm doing it. And when you send emails to people, you have to understand that they are working to their own timetable. And it may take them slightly longer than you would like for them to reply, but you don't know what they're doing. You don't understand maybe what work they currently have. You don't understand what their timetable is like. You don't understand what their limitations are regarding money and that kind of stuff. And it may turn out they don't want to work with you and they just don't have the understanding that they need to reply to tell you that. So yeah, patience is something that you need to learn and you will have to figure out. It's something I'm definitely slowly getting the hang of. So yes, patience, meltdown, followed by knowing that I have to now exercise a certain amount of patience. There's also rejection as part of all of that. Like I said, that one client I really wanted to work with, they just didn't respond at all. And that, for me, I considered that a bit rude, to be honest. It's not hard to send an email saying, it's not what I expected, I'm not sure if I can work with you at the minute. It's not hard to do at all. But some people are, maybe they're scared of the confrontation, so they don't send the email. Or maybe it just gets lost in their inbox and they forget about it and move on. You don't know. But don't take it to heart. Do not take it personally. I'm aware it's really hard not to take it personally, but it's going to happen. If you're working freelance, you are going to be rejected at some point. But it's not really that big of a deal. You dust it off, you move on. The clients that want to work with you are out there. It's grand. Just keep moving forward. Do not stew on the people that reject you. Move on to the clients that will accept you, and you will find people that are like you, and you'll attract those people, and then you'll have a really nice working life. It'll be wonderful. So yes, I've learned all about the meltdown. I'm still learning about patience. I'm getting better at that. And rejection. I'm sort of getting to grips with that as well, so it's all good. The next thing is getting organized. So the fourth thing, getting organized. I was kind of naive in my first video because I was like, oh yeah, I've got days for this and I'm gonna do this here and this is what I'm doing. Yeah. That went out the window pretty goddamn quick. So as with one of my biggest clients, I have a lot of scope on that, and I have a lot of learning to do on the way things are working. At the minute it's a wee bit disorganized, so I'm making notes as I go, and I'm thinking of new ways that I'm going to actually implement slight changes to processes so that it's more effective and it takes less time. But there's a lot of learning. I'm only just over a week in, so I have a lot of learning to do, and it'll probably be another week of me just getting my head around everything, and then I'll decide this is what we need to do, these are the strategies we need in place, and this would work really well, and I've got some really good ideas. See, when I give myself time to think out things, I have some really good ideas. But yeah, you have to allow, when you do start taking on clients, you're just going to keep adding them on top and adding them on top and adding them on top. You need to prioritize ones that are going to be making you the most money, which sounds a wee bit callous, but if you have bills to pay at the end of the month and some client can't pay you for 6 weeks, you need to take the client that is going to pay you next week, and you need to get that work done, and you need to do whatever you need to get that work done. So initially you are going to be working so much harder, and so much more of your time is going to be spent working, that you're just going to be doing more than you ever would in a full-time job. But if you're like me, you'll be a lot happier for it. Now, I'm making less money, but I am so much happier. You have no idea. And I really am enjoying it, and I can see the scope. Like, I have started on a reduced rate at the minute because I'm learning a lot, and it's my first time working as a social media person, so I reduced my rate. I'm aware that in a few months I'm going to bump that up, so that's fine. And I know by then I'll have demonstrated my expertise, and I'll have demonstrated how valuable I am, so it won't be an issue. But at the minute, trying to get organized, I'm getting there. I'm slowly getting there, and it will continue to get better. But do not be misled. People who talk about, oh, you can multitask and this, that and the other. No, you can't. No. You need to work in time chunks, so you need to be aware of, this is what I have to get done when, and you need to just focus your attention on that for a certain amount of time, and then you can move on. But yeah, getting organized is going to be a rocky process for at least the first month. And as you take on different clients, you will have to readjust every time. So there's that. Then once we've got that done, we're moving on. And there's the whole knowing your worth. Now, as I said, I have come in at a reduced rate because I'm new to this particular field, and it's a massive drop in what I was earning. But I want to demonstrate my worth, and I want to use this as a learning period for myself as well. So yeah, there's that. But also, don't reduce your rates so much that you can't pay your bills. So know your worth. The clients that I've worked with, and I've said this is what my hourly rate is, and they're, oh, that's fine, that's grand, haven't blinked an eyelid, and they've just went, okay, that's grand. And also, it's worth considering, one client I've reduced my rate just a wee touch more, only because she is a valuable client in other aspects. She has got good connections, She is happy to share me around a lot, so she is talking to other people about me, and she took some of my cards so she could share that information out, and that may come back and it'll be worth it. But also I want to help her out. You have to allow some amount of leeway on that, because I know her and I am aware that she's also a small business and, like myself, struggling. So you have to allow a certain amount of flex as well, but don't flex so much that you can't pay your own bills. So yes, know your worth and just be aware that you can do it, it'll be fine. Once you have developed your knowledge and you have a bit of experience behind you, you can easily bump that up and you'll be able to, it'll be fine, it'll stick, because you're able to demonstrate your information and demonstrate your knowledge. So yeah, know your worth, it'll be fine, you can pay your bills. The last thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet, was how to know what to do. This was one of the questions I was asked, is how on earth do you know what you're going to do, and how do you know what you can do freelance? I've worked in technology and I'm in software for about 15 years. I had started out as a developer. I moved into not wanting to be a developer, but I ended up in some sort of operations role, and then I didn't like that and I became an account manager and worked in HR, and then I moved on to service desk management. And then while I was doing the HR and service desk, which is support, I started doing my master's, and I thought I was going to be a librarian. And then after that finished up, or while that was still finishing up, I decided to go on and become a software tester. I seen a job ad for software testing, I went into that and loved it for years. And also while I was becoming a software tester, I started YouTube and I started blogging and I started getting involved in the online world. And in the last year or so, I really decided to focus in, because it's the one thing that's been consistent, and that no matter what job I'm in, I've always loved doing it. It's what makes me happy. And I would easily, and I have, spent huge amounts of my time doing it without being paid. Like, I have spent almost as much time every week as I would working full time, because I would spend my evenings and my weekends doing it. And I just wanted to spend more time doing it and learning more about it and honing in my skills and getting involved and helping build communities and getting everybody sucked in. So I'm sure everybody has heard it. It's, what would you do if you could do it forever? And what do you do that you love doing, that you would continue doing and not get paid for? So what is the one thing that makes you happy, that you would always do whether you get paid for it or not? Maybe that's something you need to focus on, and maybe there's something there that you can work out around it that might be related, that will help you out. So that could be things like video editing. There are loads of roles in that. So maybe you just need to focus in on that and focus on those kind of skills and focus on what you would do regardless. And that sounds really naff, but it's the best answer I have for you, because that's how I figured it out. I am gradually changing and shifting, because I thought, oh, I'll train people on how to use social media and that will be my thing. But now I'm actually doing social media management for a rather big client, and that's now part of my thing, because I do both and I love doing both. So maybe there's a way of being able to do multiple different roles. If you work freelance, you can offer an array of sorts that are all still tied and all still connected and all still niche, but that it's very much you. You do not have to pick a single thing. Your career is what you make it, and your freelance work is what you make it. And that is the whole point of being freelance, is that you decide what it is you're doing. You don't have to be dictated to by anybody else who says, no, it's actually, this is the role and this is how you're gonna do it, and you need to go back in your box. No, that completely is wrong. The whole point of being freelance is you are deciding what you want to do and what makes you happy. And maybe you start out with one thing and you gradually shift to something else, and you're actually much happier with the something else. Allow yourself that freedom to change. So what if people judge you and say, oh, you're changing, how dare you, and you're not what you set out to be? So what? So what? Let them at it. Who cares? Doesn't matter. As long as you're happy and as long as you're focusing on what you enjoy, that's the main thing. That's the whole point of being freelance. There's no point going freelance and then hating what you're doing. May as well get an office job. And not saying that if you're in an office job you don't love it, but you know what I mean. So that's the whole crack. That's the whole freelance thing. Always keep up with the vlogs, because I do tend to talk more about it over there as well, and chat and whatever else. And if you've not subscribed already, please feel free to subscribe. You would be an absolute legend and you'd make my day, frankly. But I'm going to run away on. I have got a lunch meeting and I'm going to be late if I don't go now. So thanks a million for watching. Please like, please subscribe, please tell all your friends, and I will see you in the next video.